This is Bhagwati, and in this video we are going to learn about for loops in Python. In the last video we learned about while loops where we keep looping until a condition is false. Today we will explore for loops which are used when we already know how many times we want to repeat our code. You can imagine it like this, that a teacher asks you to write 5 times I love Python as your homework. You don't keep checking whether you have completed it or not. You already know that it's 5 times you have to write, so you just write it. This is exactly how for loop works. When we know how many times to repeat our code, we use a for loop instead of a while loop. Let's see this in Python. Now we want to print I love Python 5 times. Let's write this code in Python. For I in range, we want to print 5 times, so we will give range as 5. Now print I love Python. So this line executes our code 5 times, and every time our code executed, this will print I love Python. And this is the range which controls our loop to iterate 5 times. And this whole line is responsible for the increment and the next loop iteration. Now let's run and see it's working or not. So here we can see that 5 times it have given output I love Python. So now from this we will get to know that range function controls the loop. Let's explore 3 ways to use the range function. The simple function for I in range 5, print I. So here it will print from 0 to 4, because in Python by default it starts from 0 in range. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Because it starts from, in Python it starts from 0 and ends at n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, 4. So let's run and see. It started from 0 and ended at 4, that is 5 times our loop iterated. And now for I in range, if we want to start printing our numbers from 1 and end at 5, so we will give range from starting to stopping, that is 6. We will give 6 because it will end at n minus 1, that is 6 minus 1, that is 5, and we want to print the numbers from 1 to 5, so print I. So the second version of range is start and stop. So let's run and see it printed from numbers from 1 to 5. Now the next version of range is for I in range. We want to start our numbers from 2 and end till 20, and then we need stepping. We need stepping of 3. Then we will write here stepping number. Then print I. This stepping number will step our numbers. Like stepping is 3, then 2 will be printed, then 3 and 4 will not be printed, then 5 will be printed. That is the third number from 2. So stepping is used. Now here we can write that the third version of range is start, stop and then stepping. So now run and see 2, 5, 8. There is stepping of 3 in each number. Now let's start with an example. Print even numbers till 10. That means even numbers for I in range. Starting will be 0 because we want to print till 10. So our ending will be 11 because in Python our range is till n minus 1, that is 11 minus 1, 10. And in stepping even numbers, we are having 2 as stepping. So here will be a 2 stepping, and then print I. So here are our even numbers till 10. Let's move on to the next code. Write a program to return the factorial of the given number. So first of all, we have to define our function factorial of n. Now we can define a variable fact is equals to 1, which will store our result. Then for I in range n, because we know that factorial means multiplication of numbers from 1 to that given number. So fact is equals to fact into I plus 1. So why this is I plus 1, not I? This is because in a simple range we know it starts from 0, as we have discussed here that it starts from 0 and end up to n minus 1. But what we want in factorial starts from 1 and end up to n. So here we will take I plus 1. That means if I is 0, at the first time it will take as 1, and at the last time when I will be n, it will take as n plus 1. When our I will be n minus 1, then it will take n minus 1 plus 1, that is n. So it will move from 1 to n. So let's call this function and try it for 5. So here it's 120, that is the correct output we got. Now move on to the last question of this video. Calculate the sum of even numbers from 0 to 10. So for I in range, we start from 0 to 10. And in Python, we know that by default it starts, simple range starts from 0. So we can write 0 to 10, and we want even numbers, so we will give stepping of 2. Then sum will get sum plus I, whatever our number will be. First we can define here a variable sum, so that our result will get stored in this variable. And here sum is equals to sum plus I, and then at the end print sum. After all the iterations of loops, we will get the sum of even numbers between 0 to 10. So here is the here is our output, and we have completed for loop in this video. And these are the coding challenge questions for you to practice for better understanding of for loops. And in the next video we will be going to learn where to use for loops and where to use while loop, and what's the importance of using for loop and while loop. Thank you.